Good to go.
Yep, you're good to go.
Beginning. Okay. Hopefully this works. Hopefully.
Yeah, looks good on our end there, at least.
Oops, I have to turn that way again. See, I don't know. Hold on a minute. Well, that's interesting. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see something here. I'm just curious. I'm going to switch over to the next one. There it is. Okay, we're good. Yeah, okay, we're good.
Alright, so nice.
Sorry guys, just setting up the presentation here. Is this in your way at all?
Oh, no, it's perfectly fine where it is right there.
If you need to move it, you could just, whatever you need to do. We can move this around.
Better than the old jerry rig we used to have.
Oh, God. That was awesome.
It was, though.
All right, good evening, everybody. As you all know, we've been covering this massive trough ejections that's going to occur over the next few days. This storm system's going to be with us for at least over the next 138 hours, so it's definitely a major system here, guys. Guess I should turn the volume off on it.
Yeah, for sure I thought there was an echo for a moment. I'm like, oh, great, that's...
Cool. All right, and you guys can definitely see the amount of energy with this system, especially right in here. You can see the energy on the backside, and then it transitions to the front and just whips across the entire United States there, eventually into the mid-Atlantic, northeast, and then eventually off the coast there. So that's even going to impact, it's going to impact from California all the way through to South Carolina, up through Pennsylvania. So it's definitely going to be...
So you're getting to our area, too,
Exactly.
so that's going to be definitely a coast-to-coast storm for sure.
Oh, for sure. All right, and as we said last night, we were expecting that the SPC would issue a slight risk into the area, and we were right on this one.
We were absolutely
Definitely spot on with this. They did have a marginal risk yesterday, but now for today there is a slight risk. It extends from north central Texas all the way up through western Kansas, and even the marginal risk expanded into southwestern Nebraska. So it's definitely a big area. Definitely, we're expecting some severe storms initiating tonight into tomorrow. Definitely some tornadoes, power outages, things like that. Massive amounts of lightning. So we'll definitely check that out, guys.
Absolutely. So this is a look at overnight into Tuesday. So rapid thunderstorms develop in anticipated areas from what we said from southern parts of Kansas all the way down to north central Texas there. An initial decreased supercells remain possible for an hour or two before the mode is trend more linear. All severe hazards are possible with it, and I cannot speak right now.
No, that's all right.
Just leave the script mode. Strongest and close proximity is expected to foster a quick transition to a linear mode. Intense wind fields will result in fast storm motion, robust vertical shear, and large hodographs, which we discussed in earlier live streams. Pretty much what they describe as, and like the more curvature of the hodograph, the more chances we are going to have a stronger severe storms and also tornadoes in the area as well.
Exactly.
A lot of these storms are fast. They're going to be definitely fast computers capable of damaging winds, and embedded tornadoes are possible. And then especially like tonight into early mornings, the surface of dry lines forecasted to extend from near the northward on to, oh, I cannot pronounce. Sorry, I just woke up too from nap, so I'm still a little dazed for that.
Yeah, so early evening is just going to be rapid convective development. You can see that with the radar image there. And it's interesting to see the flow from the south into the system, and then it ejects off towards the east. Definitely a big system.
Oh, big time for sure.
And then as we progress through the evening, a low-level jet will intensify, which leads to the development of storms along the dry line. They will become more organized. Damaging wind gusts and brief tornadoes are definitely expected throughout the night tonight. And this is a hodograph tonight. This is around 2 a.m. This is going to be for the Wichita Falls area tonight. You can see this nice kinked hodograph here, the 0 to 1 kilometer. It's definitely a nice shape. And we got classic supercell, so it's moving into that. The SR value, the SR wind versus the height. And you can definitely see there's a little bit of an elevated mixed layer here coming in. So that's definitely going to increase the low-level shear as well. and have these storms fire up. And the SRH value is at 418. We need about 170 to form tornadoes. So this is definitely a robust atmosphere tonight, guys. So storms will initiate around 2 a.m. tonight in the Wichita Falls area, and it'll last through about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So these will be nocturnal storms. So don't be surprised if you're awoken in the middle of the night by some lightning, thunder, and possible emergency broadcast systems.
Yep. Sure. So this is for the Woodward, Oklahoma area. Storm motion, robust vertical shear, and large hodographs you see in that curvature right there from going from west to east in the curvature there. So definitely hodographs will be favorable for marginal tornadoes in this area. And these storms are capable of producing damaging winds and embedded tornadoes. As you see off on the left here, those are actually omega values, so definitely you can tell that's pretty much for like wind damage potential. So definitely the further out more wind you're going to definitely get produced in these storms. And then by the early evening, the surface dry line is forecast to extend from near northward to the westward. Strong, large scales forcing associated with the approaching upper jet will overspread the dry line of the freeze, leading to rapid convection development. Initial storms will be limited low-level moisture, but cold temperatures aloft and steep lapse rates may be sufficient to feed intense storms capable of isolated severe hail and wind, and possible tornado or two as the evening progresses more with that heating of the day, especially.
Exactly.
Along with the low-level jet intensifying to 50 knots, the storm along the dry line will become more widespread and organized. Linear convective storms capable of damaging wind, gust, or embedded brief tornadoes are expected, especially in the back of the cold front is where we're going to expect to get those high-level winds as well, especially.
Those winds are definitely going to be ripping through here, for sure. Just to give you guys a location, guys, Woodward, Oklahoma is right up here, so you can see the location of Dallas and Woodward there. And this is all the same information on the side here, but just taking a look at some of these Torcon values, you can see it does blow up to 50 to 60% chance later on tonight near the Woodward area. And then even down here through Dallas-Fort Worth, you get those orange values, so that's 30 to 40% chance. So that's definitely a strong tornado potential for sure. And just like we said, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, just taking a look at the hodograph. This thing is massively kinked here. It has a nice shape to it. It even wraps around itself a little bit, so that definitely gives you the amount of shear there. So 448 SRH values. It's definitely pretty high in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So definitely 30 to 40% chance tornadoes, maybe higher as the night progresses. So definitely a possible hazard type is tornadoes, and we do have a massive elevated mix layer definitely mixing in here. So it's definitely going to be an interesting night in the Texas area. I'm actually surprised they haven't moved this into a moderate risk.
It's still definitely plenty of time to even then still take it as a moderate risk for sure, especially with the ingredients all being there.
Exactly.
Especially like in areas like Shreveport, for sure, Monroe, Alexandria, Lafayette, even in a slight area, even New Orleans, currently in a slight area right now. That almost right to even the marginal risk for northern parts of Tennessee. They're even.
Oh yeah.
Even great getting into borderline Missouri. They're even extreme southeastern tip of Missouri is even stretching out in this marginal risk for sure.
Oh yeah, so it's definitely a big broad area of severe weather definitely happening, and it's pretty interesting for December. All right. So basically, line of showers and thunderstorms will be ongoing along the cold front, stretching from southern Kansas into central Texas early Tuesday morning. Forecast photographs show large level curvature as we've seen. And we definitely have a QLCS tornado threat definitely developing throughout Tuesday into overnight into Wednesday as well. As you can see, these storms, they do have a little bit of discrete cells out ahead of them to begin with, and then they pretty much merge into two different lines of severe storms. You have this one, and then you have one forms out ahead of that. So it's definitely going to be an interesting night and day tomorrow, especially into Louisiana, Arkansas, eastern Texas, and even into portions of Mississippi there as well. It looks like some of the strong storms actually reach all the way up and through Tennessee, just like you mentioned.
So this is for Magnolia, Arkansas here. You can definitely see even marginal severe range. You still see a bit of a curvature right there in the hodograph, and even a nice elevated mix layer there as well. So this will be from starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning and lasting through at least part through the early evening, past the dinner hour through 7 p.m. So This is when a line of showers and thunderstorms to be ongoing along the front from southern Kansas all the way to San Antonio, Texas, early Tuesday morning. Low levels will be moist but relatively cool, contributing to some uncertainty regarding these early storms will surface. Forecast photographs that you see on the right-hand screen here will show a large, low-level curvature and ample storm relative headlicity and streamwide vortices, to support a QLCS tornado threat with any surface-based storms, robust wind fields, or fast storm most will also contribute to a risk for strong winds. So definitely.
Oh, definitely for sure. And just to give you guys a location of Magnolia, Arkansas, it's just right on the border there between Louisiana and Arkansas there. But definitely, like Justin said, marginal severe. So definitely, it does look like there may be a tornado threat. However, the models aren't predicting that, but definitely always prepare for that. Definitely make sure you guys are prepared. Make sure you guys have a plan in place just in case of severe weather strikes.
And this is an area for sure that I've been looking at for the past couple of days to be right in the center of the bullseye for these storms is Shreveport, Louisiana for sure. As you see, a clear curvature in the hodograph there. Definitely a possible risk of tornadoes for sure. And then look at that huge kink in the hodograph. Even some omega values being featured onto the left side of the screen there at right in that area. So definitely be on the lookout there. These storms will be coming a little bit later on in the day, around right after lunch hour at 1 p.m. tomorrow morning. So if you have any plans, definitely possibly if you can make them for the morning, or if you having a early lunch, try to make it as a brunch because these storms will be coming in right after the lunch rush for sure. So
peak eating of the day as well.
Absolutely, and these will be lasting through at least party overnight Wednesday morning. So this is definitely going to be a prolonged event here for Shreveport, Louisiana. Definitely parts of western central Louisiana for sure. And then showers of thunder. Like I said, this will be ongoing along the front, so you're going to get that first initial line of showers, thunderstorms, and then you're going to get the main part of the showers of thunderstorms in Tuesday morning. So as we said, the hodograph shows a large low-level curvature and ample storm relatively vorticity to support a QLCS tornado threat. So definitely going to be a long day for those people down there tomorrow for sure.
And just to give you guys a location, there, Shreveport, northwestern tip of Louisiana there, guys. And as we move into just taking a look at the Torcon values, you can see there's some 40 to 50% value showing up here. Interestingly enough, Shreveport was only about 20 to 30% chance, but still with that curved hodograph, some of these models may underestimate the actual values of these, so we might probably see 50 to 60% chance of tornadoes in some of these areas.
Oh, for sure.
And the SPC has extended the Day 3 outlook Wednesday, December 14th. So this even encompasses all the way through central Mississippi, down through Alabama, and even portions of southwestern Georgia getting in the action as well. And at this point, this is when southeastern Louisiana gets into it as well. This could be a very, very prolonged severe weather event for that area. Definitely some major storms coming in. And definitely into the Florida Panhandle as well. And even the marginal risk is extending all the way up to the north into Mississippi, Alabama. General thunderstorms to the north of that. We're expecting a big rain shield to the north of this in the warm sector. And then behind this, of course, we're going to have a lot of snow. So we'll definitely get into that forecast. But for now, we're just going to focus on the severe weather at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that development. It's absolutely strong, especially coming down here. Near Baton Rouge area. Ooh. Look at those storms, and then eventually these discrete cells starting to form.
Right in New Orleans, they're definitely going to be on the path for this. So this is going to be an ongoing event, or expected. So this is definitely a multi-day severe weather event, reaching as beginning into Oklahoma and Kansas, all the way leading out even to parts of Carolinas later on, getting into the act as well.
Exactly. So definitely thunderstorms. It's going to be almost an absolutely insane storm system, guys. Definitely don't take this lightly. Definitely listen in to your local National Weather Service office, and when you're on the go, just keep your eye on the sky. Conditions can change very rapidly out here.
Absolutely.
Definitely, if you find yourself under one of these warnings, definitely get to some safety and some sturdy shelter. Make sure you're inside. If you don't have a basement, make sure you get to your interior room without any windows if possible. Just make sure you guys stay safe and be prepared during this major severe weather event. Take a look at Prentiss, Mississippi here, guys. Just to give you a location. It's just directly to the north of New Orleans there. So it's definitely interesting day here, but you can see this hodograph is very kinked, and then it actually kinks just a little bit again as well. So the hazard is marginal tornado, but we do have massive amounts of omega values coming in, so there's definitely going to be some damaging winds for sure in the Prentice, Mississippi area. And not much of an elevated mixed layer. The only thing with that is it's because the temperature and the dew point are relatively close together, so the elevated mixed layer has already been mixed in at this point. So it's definitely going to be a well-mixed atmosphere. We're going to get some storms initiating at 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning, lasting through 8 p.m. So definitely some strong storm potential here, guys.
For sure. Even if you don't get a tornado risk, definitely possibility of a microburst are definitely definitely not out of the question for sure in some of these areas.
Definitely.
So definitely be on the lookout for that as well.
And switching gears down to just over to the west a little bit, over into Alexandria, Louisiana. You can definitely see it's a smaller hodograph, but yet it's still a big kink there from 0 to 1 kilometer. And then you can see that the 2 to 3 kilometer kinks even more. So definitely tornado hazard there, guys. Definitely elevated mixed layer is definitely prevalent as this system brings in the dry line closer to back to the west here. And storms will be initiating Tuesday afternoon, lasting through the evening. And there's actually an aerial flood watch in effect in some of these areas as well. So definitely, we'll definitely take a look at some of these rainfall totals here in a little bit. In the deep south and in Tennessee and Mississippi valleys. Definitely gonna be an interesting event
for sure.
You were looking at this one too earlier, the Baton Rouge.
Oh, the Baton Rouge one's correct. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Not so much of a mixed layer, like we said, like with the dew point and temperatures being close together, but definitely the omega value is definitely there for some possibly damaging straight line winds for sure. So even if you don't get the tornado, it's definitely going to be a major wind event for sure in Baton Rouge area. And this is also part of the ongoing severe risk that's going to be happening throughout these areas. This will be throughout the evening hours on Wednesday, so definitely from now until even Wednesday, this is a 48 hour, possibly even 60-hour events in part areas of just straight severe weather from stretching a large portion of the United States. Not even just the severe weather, it's the winter aspect as well. We haven't even scratched the surface on that yet, but definitely.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Actually, earlier Colorado actually had a couple of snow squall warnings before we went on the air, so definitely, they're getting into it now for sure.
Especially those slopes, it's very, very treacherous up there, guys.
For sure.
And then we're taking a look at the New Orleans area as well. This is evening thunderstorms on Tuesday. This will give way to stronger storms throughout the day on Wednesday. And you can definitely see that major kink hodograph there. It is kind of small, but this elevated mixed layer has many kinks in it. Mm-hmm. So you can definitely see the density gradient there between the dry line and the actual moisture. So it's definitely going to be a strong event here. And with all this moisture in the air at this point, it looks like we're going to have a prolonged lightning event down here towards New Orleans. And possible hazards are tornadoes. So definitely be on the lookout. Definitely if you live in the New Orleans area. It could definitely be a dangerous and prolonged event for sure. Just make sure everyone out there is safe. Be careful. Always have a plan in place.
Absolutely.
Never underestimate severe storms.
Oh, for sure.
And taking a look at the Torcon values here, you can definitely see some of these values here just south of Baton Rouge coming up, a 60 to 70% chance. So it's definitely a big primed atmosphere, and then these values and ingredients will eventually move into the New Orleans area, into portions of southern Mississippi as well. And you can see this big nose of values heading up and ingredients heading into even almost into northern Mississippi. So it's definitely going to be a major event for sure. And they actually put out a day 4 risk for Thursday, December 15th. And this is for much of Florida into southeastern Georgia. And even the southern tip of South Carolina can get on the action.
Absolutely.
Including Myrtle Beach, which I'm surprised isn't even in the outlook at this point. But I'm pretty certain that it will probably expand into that area. You can definitely see that radar. Unfortunately, this is the North American model since the HRRR doesn't go out this far, but it still gives us an idea of the types of storms we're going to have, and it definitely looks like there's going to be some discrete cells that form out ahead of this, along with the QLCS that's going to move in from the west that we've been talking about. So basically, with Georgia and coastal Carolinas, and they will shift southward to across Florida. And strong storms will be bringing in damaging winds and a tornado to across Georgia and perhaps southern parts of South Carolina throughout the day, before the storms move offshore through late afternoon and early evening hours on Thursday. This was another area you were looking at too.
Yeah, the Mobile area for sure. Definitely that. Even more of a curvature, like up north, like towards like the 35-40 kilometer spot right there. That huge spike right there.
Oh, for sure.
And then the elevated mixed layer is definitely there for sure. And then supercell line for sure getting into you. So even Mobile getting into Yakima now is supposed to be on Tuesday and going into Wednesday as well. So
yep.
As a day 4, excited this will be a cold front that crosses Georgia and the coastal Carolinas. Those shifts southward toward Florida. Some severe weather potential is expected to continue, with strong storms likely ongoing at the start of the period, with sufficient instability anticipated, along with favorable shear and organized rotating storms. Expect potential for damaging winds and a tornado or two, crispy across Georgia and Florida, those areas as well. So even, like we said, the southern part of South Carolina, even getting parts of the X, so definitely be on the lookout there for storms as well.
This is where it gets interesting here.
Oh, yeah.
Into areas of Hossford, Florida. Just to give you guys a location of that. That's just it's probably right near Pensacola, I believe.
Roughly, yeah, like between like Tallahassee and Pensacola. So definitely.
Look at that hodograph also. It's skinny, but it's very curved.
Yeah, and even the Omega bouncing close to those lines right there. So definitely going to be a strong wind event. Definitely going to be spinning possibly a lot of water spouts off the coast there for sure. Definitely. Be on the lookout for that for boaters as well as fishermen out there trying to.
Exactly. Definitely try not to be on the water at this point if you can. Definitely come ashore as the system comes in. Definitely don't want to be caught out on a smaller boat or even a larger boat during this situation. This could be some of the winds could actually reach Category 1, possibly Category 2 wind speeds here, guys. So it's definitely going to be a very strong event, especially looking at these omega values here, these red lines that are these horizontal red lines here. Although the elevated mix layer doesn't look like much, but it's already been mixed in because the temperature and dew point and the omega values are pretty close together here. So definitely still marginal tornado threat. And these will be evening severe storms on Wednesday.
Could be a possible rip current threat for the Wednesday, especially.
Oh, for sure. And it's moving a little bit eastward into Tallahassee, Florida. We have a very, very nice hodograph, very kinked here. All of this information is actually available on Pivotal Weather, so we definitely recommend Pivotal Weather. That is $9.99 a month, but to access some of this data, you actually don't need to pay a subscription, which is nice. So if you guys are wondering where this data comes from, it comes from Pivotal Weather. So you guys can see there's a little bit of an elevated mix layer, which is interestingly enough because the dew point temperature are pretty close. Omega values are lower in this region, but nevertheless, there's still a tornado. Definitely a tornado risk and strong thunderstorms throughout the day on Thursday, lasting into the evening hours.
And of course, the area I'm familiar with very much well, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, definitely had some amazing weather events happen when I was down there, being part of Tropical Storm Hermione and Hurricane Matthew when I was down there in 2016. Just for some reason, thunderstorms just are amazing down there. Just
for sure, it's probably a beautiful sight to see them on the ocean there.
Definitely enhanced, like strong, especially getting that ocean breeze as well, trying to feel some of those storms as well. So definitely
the land sea breeze interaction there with the land.
Absolutely,
that's probably an amazing sight and an amazing feeling to be a part of that.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely hope to come down one day and actually experience that for sure.
I love that. And then even like some of the omega values are a little bit between 6 and 9 kilometers sticking out there a little bit. So definitely some damaging winds are definitely a possibility for this area. And most of the mixed layer is already mixed, like we would talk about it, with some little kinkatures and up in 5 kilometers there. So this is part of the Carolinas that will be shifting from Florida. Some severe weather potential expected, with strong storms likely ongoing. The start of the period with sufficient instability anticipated, along with favorable shear and organized rotating storms. Expect potential for damaging winds and a possible tornado to a cluster joining potassium parts of southern parts of California. Wow. South Carolina. I mean, they're dealing with their snowstorms too, so I mean, there could be a severe snowstorm there, so they're already dealing with that as is. We'll get to that in a moment. 4 storms eventually move offshore for late afternoon and early evening. So definitely, this event, this front will be here definitely till possibly Thursday, even Thursday night even. So even a marginal risk here is still definitely something to keep an eye out there for the Carolinas for sure.
Oh, it definitely is. All right, we'll switch gears, guys, to this massive winter storm, which is actually obviously part of the same system, but we're just going to look to the north a little bit. You can definitely see all that rotation and all of that massive snow and ice developing. You can even see that getting into the Pennsylvania area as well. So in our area, we'll probably be impacted by this. So we'll definitely have to keep a lookout and do a live stream.
Absolutely. I already know the stairs took out me and Keith. God forbid it took out either you or Natalie anymore. We felt the wrath of the stairs.
Yes, we did. So just looking at the current snow depth, especially here in the Sierra Nevadas, where we have upwards of 52 to 84 inches of snow already, and in the portions of Utah as well, and Idaho. So definitely a lot of snow has fallen through this area for sure. And we're just taking a look at the reflectivity over the next 24 hours in the western United States. You can definitely see that the snow is still persisting. Probably in these heavier bands, you might get some thunder snow as well, especially down here through Arizona and New Mexico, where the dynamics are very favorable. Yeah, it's interesting to see, isn't it?
For sure.
And the snowfall accumulation over the next 24 hours in the western United States, definitely certain values here in Nevada are definitely going to be reaching upwards of 8 inches in some areas. So it's definitely going to be a potential blizzard event as well with the winds and everything that's going on here, guys. And definitely, especially over here down into New Mexico, Arizona, and then into portions of Wyoming as well, where there's a little over a foot of snow definitely developing there. Switching gears to the central Great Plains over the next 48 hours, you can definitely see that system here, the center of low pressure tracking just through central Nebraska, heading into Iowa as well. See all the ice forming, especially here into eastern South Dakota, into Minnesota and Iowa. And a lot of this heavy snow, and blizzard conditions, and a lot of wind is going to be expected here. We'll definitely take a look at that. Man, look at this snow.
So it's close to potentially free feed in some isolated areas over the next 48 hours. Even some parts like getting further up to like 37, maybe 38, and some parts even close to 48 into some isolated areas.
It's definitely a major crippling event here, guys. You can definitely see some of those values, especially in Nebraska, reaching 23 to 30 inches of snow or more. And then even up to down to Colorado and into Kansas, we have a couple inches of snow as well. So it's definitely going to be a major system covering a vast area. And then taking a look at the freezing rain accumulation over the central Great Plains, especially here in eastern South Dakota into extreme portions of southwestern Minnesota and northwestern Iowa. You can definitely see some of these values, a quarter of an inch of ice. It's definitely a crippling event.
Mm-hmm. Which is still good news from the totals we were expecting from last night. Because some totals we were seeing over an inch and a quarter. So definitely good news. But still, a quarter ice is nothing to laugh about for sure. It's definitely, for sure. Even some isolated spots there, maybe a third to a half an inch of ice in some isolated locations is what we're looking at.
Exactly. And just taking a look at both of these together, coupled with the winds here. So you can definitely see within Nebraska here, you get up to 45, 47 mile per hour winds. So definitely blizzard conditions occurring across Nebraska, into portions of South Dakota as well. And as the system ejects off to the northeast, we'll get some damaging winds as well into portions of Minnesota, into Wisconsin as well.
Definitely on the lookout for also blowing and drifting snow once the snow is on the ground. So definitely a lot of drifting snow in the area.
It's definitely going to create havoc with travel conditions. If you have to travel outside, please do so with caution. We'd recommend staying indoors during this storm. Unfortunately, we all have to go to the store and we all have to go to work. But if you can put some of those things on hold just for a little bit, your life is more important than where you're going. So definitely be careful out there. And switching gears over to the Midwest, over the next 48 hours, you can see just this broad area of low pressure coming in. You can see this big, massive rain shield coming in as well, across portions of Illinois, Indiana, stretching down through Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, eventually into Ohio and into our area as well. Definitely see the ongoing snow throughout South Dakota, into Nebraska, into Iowa, eventually also making it up to Wisconsin and northern Michigan as well. And you have some icing going on in the Grand Rapids area, so we'll definitely take a look at that.
Absolutely.
And snowfall accumulations in the area over the next 48 hours. Definitely prominent within South Dakota, Minnesota, and stretching into Wisconsin as well. And we'll definitely take a look at the icing situation going on here, where just trace amounts of snow are expected. Yeah, you can definitely see this prominent ice developing here into northeastern Indiana, into northwestern Ohio as well. So definitely, if you're out on the roads, definitely be careful. And just looking at the rainfall accumulations here, just kind of ignore this part. This is actually QPF, quantitative precipitation forecast. So definitely this is actually including the snowfalls up here. But you can see on here, guys, definitely 2 inches to 3 inches of rain expected down here. We'll definitely zoom in on that. But just to put everything together for the Midwest, it's definitely going to be a major system in terms of snow, freezing rain, and rain as well. And definitely some thunderstorms possibly embedded in this into portions of northern Arkansas, into southern Missouri, even into the Tennessee area as well.
We'd be surprised if parts of southern Illinois and western Kentucky wouldn't even get into the storms
Exactly.
as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And this is where the major rainfall comes in here into the deep south over the next 48 hours. Some areas actually expected to get between 5 and 8 inches of rain from this system. So it's almost like a big tropical system.
Yeah, especially had that development, that deep tropical moisture in there as well, with the dew points close to 70 degrees. So definitely going to have that tropical feel to it for sure.
Exactly. And switching gears to the north, into the mid-Atlantic over the next 48 to 84 hours, definitely in our area up here. So we're definitely expected to see some rain, ice, and a mixture of snow as well. So it definitely can get pretty interesting here over the next 48 to 84 hours for sure. And then taking a look at the snowfall during the same period, you can see Grand Rapids actually getting in now to about 4 inches of snow. Then you can see portions of north central Pennsylvania here, northeastern Pennsylvania getting about 10.5 inches of snow.
Maybe some isolated locations of a foot as well for sure.
Exactly. I think it is sort of underestimating some of this, but there is going to be that warm sector coming in, which is take a look at that here next with these icing accumulations here, guys. Freezing rain. Even in our area, we're looking almost 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain here. So it's definitely going to make traveling conditions very treacherous. We definitely don't recommend traveling in our area. Once freezing rain hits the Pittsburgh area and points around it, it's almost a crippling event. And it's very hard to travel, walking, driving, anything out there. So definitely make sure you guys plan on not being able to travel for at least a few hours. And some of these totals, especially down here in West Virginia, 1.5 inches of ice. That's enough to bring down power lines for sure. So definitely, if you live in portions of northeastern West Virginia into Maryland and down through north central Virginia, definitely get some. Looking at some crippling ice totals, definitely.
And even parts of extreme Somerset County down there as well.
Oh, exactly. And some of the rainfall totals here as well. We're looking at about 1 inch of accumulation here, inch of rainfall in the Pittsburgh area, and points down to the south. This is where the severe weather and the heavy rain is definitely going to be prominent. Upwards of 3 to about 5.5 inches. Some areas may get 7 inches in some of these locations as well. You can even see Kentucky getting in the action of almost 3 inches of rain, so it's definitely going to be a flooding event for sure.
Even potentially up to upwards of 2 inches, even up to into Delaware there, and parts of southern parts of New Jersey there, getting 1.5 inches potentially as well. And right on cue.
It's always near the end of the presentation. She comes in, ASMR by Hopper.
Yes.
All right, guys, just to show you these rainfall totals along with the temperatures, you can see why there's icing conditions going to happen. Some of these areas are going to be under the, they're going to be around 33 and below, which is definitely going to create some of those icing conditions for sure. You can see the rainfall totals of 1.5 inches here, and before there was about 1.5 inches of ice in that area, so it's definitely going to remain below freezing there. We do get up to about 36 degrees in our area, so this freezing rain event shouldn't last very long. But nevertheless, it's still going to impact during the actual afternoon hours. And then into Friday as well is going to be another, we're looking at another shortwave system coming into the area, which may actually generate our first measurable snow, at least for the season. So it's definitely going to be an interesting event.
Definitely looking forward to that.
All right, guys. So just an overall synopsis: blizzard and blowing snow conditions across portions of Nebraska and South Dakota. Icing conditions across portions of eastern South Dakota and the portions of Minnesota and Iowa, and also across portions of western Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, and northern Maryland as well.
And then you got the severe thunderstorm and tornado threat across eastern Texas and the western central Oklahoma tonight into tomorrow morning. Then across most of Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi tomorrow into Wednesday morning. And then stretching across to eastern Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. Wednesday night into Thursday possible. Violent tornadoes are definitely possible. It's definitely... Could see some PDSs for sure.
For sure.
Tomorrow.
I agree with that. There's definitely going to be, most likely there's going to be a couple PDS tornado warnings out there. PDS stands for particular dangerous situation. So definitely be on the lookout for those. Even if you don't get a tornado in your area, you may be under the gun of severe weather, especially severe thunderstorms, severe thunderstorm warnings. That's usually impacts 58 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail or larger. So definitely be on the lookout for that, guys. And then we have torrential rainfall across Mississippi and Tennessee valleys into the mid-Atlantic. Some areas may observe upwards of 5 inches of rainfall, as we looked at. And this system is going to be impacting from coast to coast. So always a reminder, stay weather ready, stay prepared, and stay safe.
And as always, never stop chasing. Thank you guys for watching, and I would definitely appreciate you guys watching. And if you guys watch after the fact, thank you guys as well. If you want to keep just look up youtube.com/ all that fun stuff, or just look up World Weather Authority. You can also check us out at Facebook at World Weather Authority. And if you guys want to, it's not required, but if you guys, we do have a PayPal. It's paypal.me/World Weather Authority. Donations are definitely not expected, but definitely appreciated as well if you guys can. It's great. If not, completely understandable. Just the viewership alone is definitely...
Oh, the viewership alone is fantastic, and I just want to give a shout out to all 451 subscribers, guys. We went from 19 subscribers to 451 in less than about 48 hours. So that's definitely
amazing.
Definitely an amazing feat, and it's truly a blessing to see that many people actually subscribe to the channel. Hopefully we can get more. Justin and I definitely want to provide some more information as we go forward.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So it's definitely going to be an interesting time as we progress forward.
Absolutely, and then tomorrow we might even go live during this severe weather event.
Oh, for sure.
Keep you guys in track as the storms are going to be developing, and so definitely want to keep you guys in taps as well. Keep everybody trying as safe as possible to give you guys the most accurate information we possibly can.
Exactly.
So definitely.
And I work 5 a.m. to 1:30 tomorrow or 2:30, but I'll probably leave at 1:30 so that way I can get out ahead of these storms. And definitely do a live stream tomorrow for sure, just to give you guys some more information.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. And always remember, never stop chasing.
That's good.